Hey guys, welcome to another lesson of Pro Teaches Do. Today I have with me Bianca,
Hey.
and today we're going over one of my favorite Elseworlds. I know I say that a lot, but this one truly is one of my favorites. Superman, last son of Earth. What if you take the concept of in this case, instead of Kal-El going from Krypton to Earth, we have baby Clark Kent being sent from Earth to Krypton. And when
Interesting.
this is done, you'll see that it makes so much sense. But yeah, and this utilizes the John Byrne Krypton and really shows a lot more about it, more than anyone else has. You remember when we went over the old Man of Steel, right? Superman Man of Steel mini?
Yeah.
Yeah, things this expands on it even more so. This is written by Steve Gerber, creator of Howard the Duck. But we open up in 1968 when young Martha Kent finds out that she's pregnant. And she's so overjoyed because she thought it was impossible. So, but here in this world, instead of being a farmer, John Kent actually became a astrophysicist. Jonathan has the most wonderful news. Jonathan, what is it, honey? What happened? All right, then, at least acknowledge my presence. What? Martha, I'm sorry, sweetheart. I was lost in thought. You and Johnny Walker, what's going on? You never drink before dinner. It's nothing, really. An uncooperative equation. I need to relax. Let my mind wander a bit. So, any particular reason for this visit? Are you sure you're ready for this? I just came from the doctor. We're going to have a baby. We're, oh dear God. No. What's the matter with you? I thought you wanted a child, that we want a child. I tell you I'm pregnant, and you act like I'm a terminal case. No, not you. The Earth, the entire planet, including our unborn child, is terminal. We'll be lucky if we live to hear our baby's first cry. Here, see for yourself. That large object near the center of the photo? It's an asteroid, the size of a small island, headed straight for Earth. I can't even gauge its velocity. The red and blue distortion indicates some bizarre, violent temporal shift, as if the thing were moving toward us and away from us simultaneously. Isn't there a chance then that no, the asteroid speed is inconsistent, but its course is steady? Within a year, perhaps less, we're all going to die. It's that simple. Can we do anything? What? Evacuate the planet? We haven't the technology. Even if we did, can you picture LBJ and Brezhnev joining hands in friendship just to save a few billion lives? We stand a better chance at deflecting the asteroid by aiming happy thoughts at it. But it's their lives too. They can't be stupid enough to these are people who've convinced themselves that 20,000 nuclear warheads make the world a safer place. They're experts at self-destruction, Martha. I'm looking at a professor of astrophysics, my husband, one of the top men in his field, Martha, please. But I'm hearing somebody else, some farm boy from Smartville, whose father made fun of him for wanting to go to college. Dead 11 years, and he's still snickering at you from the hayloft of your mind. Jonathan can't. Jonathan can't. Now that he's gone, you have to goad yourself into every fight. We both know that about you. Yes. So do it, darling. Now he tries to announce it, but no one believes him. Why, Martha? Why? Please, Jonathan, it makes me feel better. Makes you feel better? How can you delude yourself like this? Or maybe you think I'm the one who's deluded, just like the rest of the world. I'm not a madman. We're all gonna die. I'm sorry, Jonathan, but I can't give up hope. You're right. Forgive me. You're the only one who's ever believed me. It's time I thought about you and our child. Are you sure you want to liquidate all your assets, Dr. Kent? Even the townhouse? I'm sure. When can you have the check ready? Friday. Morning or afternoon? Damn, he really believes the world's going to end. That's nothing. If I don't get this loan approved, my career's going to end. 1,200 feet of 6 gauge tube. Basically, he's ordering all the stuff he needs and everything. Soon, the young Clark is born. Clark Kent. Basically, he's going to rest while he works on the rocket. Are you crazy? It's plain as the nose on Nixon's face. Kent was anything but a crackpot, and the people have the right to know, but they don't have the right to panic in the streets. The government's top scientists still say the asteroid won't hit us, and if they're wrong, If they're wrong, the Army's ready to blast it out of the sky. That's what they're saying, White. And that's what you're going to report on. You report it. I quit, Perry White. Maybe that was a mistake. Now that I've got nothing to do with myself till the end of the world. 1 week later. Jonathan, it's so small. Can it really carry all three of us? No. There's only room for you and the baby. The ship will take you into orbit for 3 weeks. That should be long enough for the post-impact tides to roll back and the quakes to subside. So he's not trying to send him way off into space. He's trying to make it temporary. But Martha chooses to stay with him. So they put young Clark in here to give him his best chance. There's still time, Martha. You could be with her son. You could have that chance too. Have you ever known me to change my mind once I made it up? You know I never lost faith in you, Jonathan. I know. And that I love you, Martha. But turns out it went above and well past it, right into a wormhole. Found by aliens, breaks Planet Krypton, the House of El. Waiting for the moment the silver egg would hatch, pour its nuclear yolk into the heart of our world. And basically this was when you had the people that would have brought about the end of Krypton by putting something that would take a long time for things to go crazy. Great row! Kal-El, analyze. Possible somatic incident, Master Jor-El. I'm continuing to scan for data. Jor-El to library. Your transmission was interrupted. Please reestablish. The library is unable to respond. All systems are currently offline. Incoming data suggests disturbance in the upper atmosphere. I want to know what caused this. Ready my flyer. Kryptonian custom would discourage leaving one's house when conditions outside remain unknown. Noted. Ready my flyer. The library appears undamaged. What left that trail of smoke? Analysis, Kal-El. Composition, oxide, carbon, ferrous matter, trace radiation suggests the object may be of extra Kryptonian origin. Apparently the data banks were hit harder than we were. Is there a librarian on duty? Who are you? And by whose authority do you enter? I'm Jor-El, son of Saga, son of Terrell, son of Donnell. I am 22nd generation of the House of El. You're the librarian? I am Laura, 12th generation keeper of the archives of... A moment, please. I'm regaining my composure. Please, allow me to assist. Take your hands off me. I've heard of Seagal's son was unconventional. I had no idea your impotence extended to physical contact. I apologize, Lady Laura. It was merely a gesture of concern for your well-being. Don't let it happen again. However, your concern is appreciated. The databanks are coming back online. System self-diagnosed reports only minimal damage. Can you run to your studies now? And you can run to your studies now. Ignored what just occurred. Aren't you the least bit curious of this incident? That is not my assigned role as a librarian. Perhaps a librarian needs a day off. Kal-El, yoink! They soon made their way down there. Are you mad? Where are you going? To see what fell from the sky. Kal-El's reading. Primitive ballistic device, constructed of crude iron carbon alloy, abandoned by Kryptonian engineers 100,000 cycles ago. However, structural integrity of undamaged components suggests a much more recent manufacture. And Master Jor-El, yes, it contains a life form. He just, without a second thought, runs down there, tosses sand on it to put out the flames, and then with Kal-El's help, what is it? A child. You've seen pictures, surely. Of children, yes, but not in that condition. Not prior to their suiting. Infants aren't burst in their biosuits, you know. Granted, it is unusual for a child of this age not to be wearing. Now what's wrong? You're touching it. You're touching its naked skin. Would you prefer I leave him here to die? It's not your responsibility, all mine. Let the automation dispose of it. He's breathing his labor. He can barely lift his own limb. He cannot possibly harm you or anyone else. Why do you wish him dead? It could be written with disease. It could be a chrysalis for some off-world species. Stop! You're passing the library. I demand that you return me. There's no time. Kal-El, the child's condition. Vital signs deteriorating rapidly. Specimen physiology appears too fragile for Krypton's gravity and atmospheric pressure. Have you not shown me enough, Jor-El? Must I now witness what no Kryptonian has seen for centuries? The hideous spectacle of death? I assure you that is far from my intent. And pulse drive to maximum. What are you going to do? Where are you taking me? Home. Assuming you don't set your sentries don't vaporize us first, Nonsense. They're detecting unfamiliar life form aboard, that's all. They're merely executing routine decontamination procedures and let us pass. Presently. Kellex. Basically trying to figure out what's going on. Um, May I remind Master Jorel that house logs are. Oh, he wants to delete all entries pertaining to the child. Do you truly believe he cares? Oh, yeah. May I remind Master Jorel that house logs are considered official documents subject to inspection by the elders of Krypton. Do you truly believe he cared about the laws? He clearly already forsaken common decency. Legalities aside, your father would mightily disapprove of tampering with house records. No doubt. But imagine his displeasure should he learn about our special guest. Accessing deletion complete. Does nothing escape your corruptive influence, Jor-El? You've even turned your automaton from a servant to an accomplice. I prefer to think of him as a friend. One moment, please. Authorization code E122. Open. A secret chamber? That's a bit odd for you, isn't it? I was told you detest the Kryptonian custom of living in isolation. No, not in isolation. The fear it breeds. The indifference to what lies beyond ourselves and our present knowledge. Look at it, truncated DNA. It's truncated DNA. It's an inferior life form, and as I warned you, not even Kryptonian. Inferior? Do you think you could survive a trip through space and crash in a hostile environment without your biosuit? The child species may be less complex, but it's hardier than our own. He after all does not depend upon a second skin to keep him alive. I did not realize you held your own species in such contempt. He seems contemptuous of all other species. You seem contemptuous of all other species. What's one more? Furthermore, critique is not contempt, Lady Laura, or have we become a race of two sin skins? Kellex, the child's status. Stronger now that it's received oxygen, but its heart is still straining. It will fail before long. Don't be irresponsible, Charles. Even if you save it, the poor creature could never lead a normal life. At best, it would be hopelessly invalid. At worst, a medical curiosity. If and, and curiosity has no place on Krypton, and I shall have to create one. Computer open. What do you think about this so far?
It's very interesting.
Yeah, it's actually embracing stuff about Burns Krypton that we never thought about before.
Yeah, I'm love to see more Krypton stuff.
Computer Open Journal. Today marks half a solar cycle since the child's arrival. In other words, half a Kryptonian year. By maintaining him within a null gravity field, I've been able to keep him alive. I shall now begin to increase the gravity and atmospheric pressure in his environmental chamber. If I am correct, his body will over time adapt to the conditions of Krypton. From ancient library recordings, I have learned of the infant care and the principle of infant care nutrition. From experience, I have learned to make adjustments. Note: never feed anabolictic multi-nutrition paste to a non-Kryptonian child. He appears to be intelligent and inquisitive. I am certain too that he recognizes me when I approach. For reasons I do not understand, I am developing a peculiar attachment to my small strange visitor. Close journal. On. I'm loving Jor-El, aren't you?
Yeah, he seems like a sweet guy.
Master.
Not like the Man of Steel movie.
Yep, Master. The Lady Laura is here to see you. She's come of her own volition. What does she want? Insufficient data. However, she seems rather agitated. Lady Laura, to what do I own? Perfect and senseless. It wasn't enough to just put your hands on me, was it? I am pleased to see you too. You manipulated the data, didn't you? You arranged for us to be chosen. Well, I won't allow it. I would remove my cells from the matrix before I'd allow them to be mixed with. That thing is still alive? He is, and growing stronger by the day. How wonderful! You are indeed one of a kind, Jor-El, and praise while you will remain that way. Your meaning still elude me, lady, but I am pleased that your anger has subsided, and so apparently is the child. Say hello to Lady Laura, little one. Lawa. It speaks? Not until now. Your name was its first word. Master Jor-El, your father's request your presence in a moment, immediately. He's been sending you on a hollow receptor in the house, every hollow receptor in the house. That's why there are none in this lab. I wish our culture valued privacy as highly as isolation. Jor-El, where have you been? Come to my terrace at once. We have visitors from the Council of Elders. On my way, father. I thank my elders for their infinite patience and beg forgiveness that I have let my own interests keep me from this meeting. And well put, son of Saga, you are forgiven. And now to the matter of the center of this gathering. Doubtless you have received and you have heard of the recent untimely deaths of Zahn M. Yes, I was troubled by the news. Death is so rare in this society. Quite so. What you may not realize is that since death creates an opening in the register of citizens, basically they've kept a limited population.
Interesting.
Yep. And you have been chosen to father the new Kryptonian who will fill that opening. Lords and lazy, I do not have the proper words. None are needed, my son. You need only give the address of respect to Nara, who is grandmother of the female chosen as your mate. With great pleasure, father. Hail, Nara, daughter of the Kryptonian, may the mingling of our families bring forth only wisdom and tranquility. Again, well said, Jor-El. I am pleased of the union of the House of El and my granddaughter, the Lady Lara. Ah, that explains much. Elders of Krypton, hear me, I beseech you. Lara, explain your presence here at once. Forgive my presumption, grandmother, but this union must not occur. Not after the abomination Jor-El has committed. Jor-El, depending upon one's interpretation, your granddaughter may be correct, though I question her choice of words. There already is a child in my charge. Show them, Jor-El. The others have the right to see what you've done. I assure you, I knew nothing of this alien creature's existence, much less it was sharing my house. Tell us, Jor-El, what do you propose to do with this life form? Intend to raise him that he may one day assume a place in Kryptonian society. I shall give and name him my heir. He will be the 23rd generation of the House of El. Kal-El. We shall take this under advisement. Please speak quickly, Jor-El. My biosuit can neutralize the humidity in this place, but not the ghastly odors. All of Krypton bore foliage like this in the time before the Clone Wars. Ha! Surely you can admire our scientists' efforts to restore it from DNA remnants. You didn't ask me here to discuss horticulture. You want to know if I intend to appeal the Elder's decision, don't you? It would seem our fates are intertwined. Our meeting at the library, finding the child together, them being chosen as parents. Perhaps, what exactly would you expect of me as the child's mother? Participate in his socialization process. Assist with his education. Teach him to be a proper Kryptonian. Unlike his father, you mean? It would please me if the child's life were less difficult than my own. I cannot find fault with that sentiment. I will consider it.
She's
Again!
very confusing.
Okay, she is both trying to keep true to Kryptonian ways, but she's pushing back. But her need for the following the tradition counteracts any hatred she might have for him.
That makes me not like her. She's just too confusing.
She is confusing, but again, it's remember, and this goes back. I told you this before, even back in the old stuff. Jor-El was a unique. He was an oddity among Kryptonians. Lara was true Kryptonian. So she's learning.
Trying to get him in trouble and all that stuff, just so she doesn't marry him.
As she sees it, he's committing heresy.
Shh, you keep it quiet. If you're interested in it as well, then don't freaking say anything.
But she's both interested and yet feels this abomination. That's, again, she's conflicted. That's what it is. She's conflicted.
I hate her.
Things will change, I assure you. Yeah, they're rewatching as when there was the Clone Wars long ago. Wow, time has passed clearly, and Clark's now wearing this, and Kal-El is wearing this suit. They were really trying to destroy the whole world. Fortunately, Kal-El, the device was neutralized before it could detonate the planet's core. But yes, they were. The rebels outraged at the clone base. Basically, what led to this, and this is something that's been consistent with all their history, was that they would use clones to replicate their arms, limbs, anything. Basically, that's all the clones were. They were meant for, for body harvesting. Until one of them created a clone of her own, of herself, a younger clone of herself, to wed to her son. And thus, eventually, that led to this notion of clone rights that led to this war. And ever since then, it's when things became what they were.
This art is just freaking me out.
So realistic, isn't it?
The first panel of him, it looks so different than the one on the bottom. I'm like, what?
Yep. Well, I don't blame them. When they got hurt or sick, they just hacked up their clones for spare parts. I'd hate myself too if I treated another living being like that. In that case, you'd be making the same mistake the ancients did. Their unreasoning hatred nearly annihilated them and ultimately led our society to mistrust all emotions. That, in part, is why we live as we do now, in isolation from one another, on the theory that proximity breeds conflicts. Oh, Father, what was Krypton like before the clone banks? No actual record survives from that time, Kal-El. Only stories, and legends. Mere speculation. Hold on. Tales of grand gleaming cities, of a culture dedicated to science and learning, in a time when war and violence were all but unknown. It's nonsense, of course. The hedonistic society that built the clone banks could never have sprung from such idealism. But, Father, how can you be sure? I can I, in the absence of reliable data, I trust my ability to reason. And since any historical evidence, assuming such exists, would be buried far beneath Krypton's surface, but hasn't anybody ever looked? Kal-El, the time preceding the Clone Wars hold a little relevance for us today. It even shows that even now, as much of a outside or an outcast as Jor-El was, he still holds on to other Kryptonian beliefs. That holds little relevance for us today. And most of Krypton would prefer to forget history. We do know. Understand? Yes, Father. Very good. It's time you return to your science lessons anyway. Yes, Father. Jor-El to library. Jor-El, is something the matter? You appear I'm concerned about Kal-El. Have you been providing him with any unusual study material? Not at all. Only the standard curriculum and a few entertainments appropriate for a boy of 12 cycles. Why do you ask? Oh, hold on a sec. Why do you ask? Of late, our son has been asking peculiar questions pertaining to matters well outside his course. I cannot fault his curiosity, but he often seems unable to focus on the work at hand. As I recall, your father has had some experience coping with an unconventional child. Ask Sigel how to handle the problem. Will you ever tire of taunting me, Laura? Perhaps, my dear Jarrell, in another 12 cycles or so. Okay, so she's warmed up to him now enough to at least poke at him like a wife would. But then time has passed and now he's now a grown man.
I just realized, though, of course, he has to wear the costume to like breathe and
Well, to
stuff, right?
breathe and move. Well, he doesn't need it to breathe. It's more just to survive the,
Atmosphere.
yeah, the atmosphere and the gravity. Um, Laura argues that though his intelligence is inquisitive, he spends little time in contemplation and self-reflection. Indeed, he appears completely unconcerned that he is different from everyone else. Laura argues that I was much the same as a young man, but I came of age in less perilous times. Krypton is changing for the first time in millennia. Death is all around us. In the past cycle alone, millions have succumbed to the mysterious green plague sweeping our world. As one of our best minds, my son could be seeking the cause and cure, not chasing meaningless artifacts on the desert. I have failed you as a father, Kal-El. Forgive me.
Wait, he
But yeah,
think he fails because he's trying to inspect the
the planet
virus or whatever?
because he's trying to find. He's being an archaeologist, a field that Jor-El does feel things is not needed
I mean, why would an archaeologist not be needed?
because they don't need to focus on their old history. They should focus on the present.
Oh, we're one of those.
And Crypto. It's drone is named Crypto. Begin analysis of those artifacts at once. I need to examine. Wait, what's that? Wow, not another one. Crypto, the equipment. Force field in place, Master Kal-El. The quakes are getting stronger, aren't they? And more frequent. One moment, please. Data incoming. Recommend immediate location of your field site, Master Kal-El. I detect a sudden energy surge from that formation to the west. And there, you mean the greenish glow? Let's go have a look. Warning, energy signature conforms to no known parameters. Cause and caution is indicated. They find a Green Lantern had crashed.
Ooh.
And once there, he finds the battery and Kal-El of Krypton. The light shines upon you and within you and finds you worthy. Hold the ring of power to the lantern's flame and speak these words. In brightest day and blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power, Green Lantern's light. Ooh! Master Kal-El, are you all right? Are you joking? Crypto, how long since our last visit home? 7 months, 4 days, 3 hours, 21. Too long for even for me. I want to tell my father about this. Master, wait. I was not designed for high velocity flight. Thank you. Now what about your flyer, the artifacts, the equip? Later. Father, I have the most astonishing. Father, is something wrong? No, it's nothing, Kal-El. Can your news wait until tomorrow? Father, are you merely fatigued, Kal-El? Good night. I don't think I've ever seen Father so distracted. He didn't even notice. Crypto, readings, accelerated heartbeat, rapid pulse, significant galvanic skin response. Your data suggests your father's mind is otherwise occupied. So he opens up his findings. Great row. How dare you? Who gave you permission to? My son. What happened to you? Your exoskeleton. That strange costume. Never mind that now, father. How long have you known? And why haven't you told anyone that Krypton is doomed? You said the ancient device had been neutralized. You lied to me. I did no such thing. The device was destroyed. Now, if you're also wondering one thing about Clark being a grown man by the time everything's happening, that's because, remember, he came there. He already developed and everything. The stuff with Laura and Jor-El would have taken much longer.
Hmm.
What no one knew is that it was set in motion a chain reaction. Yeah, the device that was done long ago, it had basically, it would have done it immediately, but even when they stopped it, it just slowed its demise. The green death is a form of radiation sickness, isn't it? We're being poisoned by particles seeping up from the core. Why would you keep this secret? Because nothing could be done. When the reaction reaches critical mass, this planet will explode. No one will survive. I saw it better to let Krypton live these final moments at peace. When is that going to happen? Days? Hours? I cannot say with precision. Soon. Pray to Rao not too soon. My son? And basically, what does he do? He creates all of these green, using his energy as well. He creates all of these different things from the meteors, reshape them so it was lead and was iron. Why? So they can send them down there at strategic points. And granted, it damages everything, but it negates the destruction of Krypton. Can it be? And if these massive columns of metal actually penetrate to the planet's core, no, I cannot allow myself to think it. Not yet. Not without proof. It's true. The columns are functioning like the control rods in an ancient nuclear reactor, disrupting the chain reaction. Kal-El has averted the destruction of Krypton. Jor-El, Laura, what? Be silent. Let me speak. I was in the library, attending to my duties when the rain of metal began. I believe our world was coming to an end, and that I was about to die. My thoughts at once turned to Nora, my grandmother. A normal response. My next thoughts, however, fixed upon you, and this I found perplexing at first. Then it came to me. Catastrophe and Jor-El, an entirely rational pairing of concepts, and yet it seemed odd I should think of you, even in jest at that moment. Did you think of me? From the moment we met, Laura, you have never left my thoughts. So it tells you that she has changed for the better. But when he's looking around, he's actually checking everything out. We may have escaped the immediate peril, but the threat of the green plague still exists. But soon he then finds an ancient area and then finds a book. So many structures so close together. Nothing remotely like this in the histories. Who lived here? What man of Kryptonian would build such a place? I thank my elders for their infinite patience, and I beg forgiveness that I've let. Oh, he's repeating what his father said. Kal-El. No matter, Jor-El. My great-grandson is forgiven for his tardiness, if not his sarcasm. The Council of Elders wish to express his gratitude for your act of heroism, Kal-El. I accept your thanks, and yet I cannot help but question the value of what I have perceived our society is rotting from within. The true disaster that confronts us is not a fission reaction or a radioactive plague, but our own stagnation. Ours is a culture founded on fear. We fear each other. We fear our past. We fear the unknown. This is what saved our world. An alien trinket that any one of you would have discarded or even destroyed, simply because it is not Kryptonian. We no longer inquire. We no longer explore. But Krypton wasn't always this way. I have found Krypton's lost history. I believe the cure for our culture's lethargy is here, and I tend to pursue it. Tomorrow.
What? You showing lethargy?
Master, are you unable to sleep? I could basically had a dream about his final moments there on Earth. And then, but no, they feel like more like memories. But did the lantern implant them, or are they mine? And why am I certain that Father knows the answer? Kal-El, I thought you had gone to bed. I did. I couldn't sleep. Father, where was I born? What kind of question is that? You basically tries to claim that he's from the planet, but then he's like, children born in the Matrix are perfect. I am not. Why was I shackled with an exoskin? Why did I spend my first 11 cycles as a specimen in your lab? I've been remembering things, seeing images in my mind, people and places that could not exist on Krypton. You're tired, Kal-El. It's nothing more than Jor-El. On. Upon this family's honor, speak the truth. Am I of this world?
Dun, dun,
So,
dun.
what did you think of that?
Interesting. So he doesn't need the suit anymore. He could just use the Green Lantern suit.
Yep. The ring
Easy.
provides an aura that does it. But again, do you think Laura's gotten better?
Yeah, and like it's so funny because I didn't expect a Green Lantern thing at
Well,
all.
yeah.
But in the Batman Green Lantern book, we expected him to be a Green Lantern, but it was really bad. And this one I didn't expect him to be a Green Lantern, but it's being so good.
Yep. And what did you talk about Jor-El and Laura so far here?
Laura's just a boring girl now.
What about Jor-El?
Jor-El is still the same. I like Jor-El.
Probably the better Jor-El though, right?
Yeah.
Definitely better than Man of Steel, right?
Jess.
But basically, yeah. Now he's with the Lantern Ring, and then he now knows the truth. Like, am I of this world? And he basically says, like, you've been raised on a Kryptonian, and you've proven yourself to be not only of this world but its savior. It was raised in a computer-controlled, contained atmosphere. Basically, he's trying to find out, and basically, Laura said, "I think it's wisest to tell him, Jor-El. I am about to, Laura, but I wish to place the answer in proper context. You are as much of this world as we can make you, Kal-El, but you are not from this world." Okay, that I like. He's trying to make it clear to him, know that we did what we could to raise you like one of our own. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Where then? I wish we found you in a crashed spacecraft out near the library. Its construction was crude. I doubt it was ever built for interplanetary travel, let alone to cross the gulf between stars. Surely it had navigational records or none that survived the crash. So the years I spent in that bubble, your body had to adapt to Krypton's atmosphere and gravity, and it has more than I saw possible. You had to hide me, didn't you? For a time, yes. Harboring an alien, you'd have been considered criminals under Kryptonian law. Uh, there was of little import with your life at stake, Kal-El. I could not have chosen any other course. And look at Laura looking down in shame. So yeah, now he's trying to figure everything out, and soon then he's been told you must come to Oa, to which he does. And once he's there, he meets up with the Guardians, and basically they, like, we've observed with great interest how you saved the planet Krypton from this destruction. Truly a heroic effort, worthy of the uniform which you now wear. Your voice, you're the ones who have been speaking to me through the lantern, the power battery. I am, and you can teach me to use the ring to delve into my memory. I can instruct you in this technique. There is no guarantee you will master it. The danger is using the ring that way is profound. Consider the wearer's own will acts upon the ring, which acts upon the mind, which exerts the will, thus creating a loop of consciousness. Others have tried, and their minds have become encompassed in a trance-like state, in constant suspend, in its content suspended in the energy of the ring. In such a state, one is oblivious to the passage of time. After 24 hours, the ring loses its charge. Indeed, and the wearer loses his mind. The trick of it all is to wall off the will from exploration, to maintain its self awareness, even as it commands the ring. So basically, they start to teach him it, and soon, like, who are you? Who? Wait, losing it, don't. Gone. As you see, Kal-El, the task is neither easy nor impossible. Basically, soon he starts to find out about Earth, and they soon realize that's where it's at.
Mm.
Um, on Sector 2814, System Sol, a tiny world and its inhabitants call Earth. Earth? Is there any more information? These images are from our last remote survey more than a century ago. More recent records indicate the planet's orbit intersected with the path of a mass-bearing warp anomaly. The collision would have taken approximately and would have placed approximately concurrent with your birth. Surely the Green Lantern of that sector deflected the anomaly. He was otherwise occupied. An interstellar war, some 50 worlds at stake. Are you saying you did nothing? We are not gods, Kal-El. We have our limitations. Kal-El! Oh, soon he makes it there. Can that really be the same planet the Guardians showed me? Could anything have survived in so foul an atmosphere? Asia, Alaska, Semiscura, devastated Atlantis, gone.
No.
Gotham City, gone.
What the heck? Oh, that's right. The thing happened.
Yep, and soon he finds and helps someone. First, he's speaking Kryptonese, but then uses the well, no, he's not speaking. He is speaking Kryptonese, but he can't understand the English until he used the ring to translate it. He helps him back over to Metropolis, as we find out that Luthor has taken over
Of course.
in a very dictatorship way. People used to rely on certain individuals because they were fast, or could fly, or could use magic words. But those heroes were merely somewhat stronger sticks. They bound together only with each other, and they are all broken now. Gone, swept away by the waves of fire and the churning of the earth. There is an island, some thought it missed, named Semiscura. The people there held secret knowledge which they kept themselves. They too were destroyed, their precious secrets buried with them, all because they could not walk in step with the rest of us. And this all dying world is weaker for it. Even here in Metropolis, there is an island of isolation, the Daily Planet Building. Its faction has repeatedly refused to join our march to greatness, which not only weakens them, but also ourselves. And we cannot allow that. Soon we will move on them. We will unite Metropolis. I have seen enough. These are zealots, like Kanzi's rebels of ancient Krypton. Their leader speaks of unity, but its goal is conformity and control. Makes his way up there and soon finds Jimmy. My name is Kal-El. I am a visitor. I've come to offer help. Well, our tribe is open to anybody, anyone, but we should really talk to the chief. Maybe he'll forget to ask for the walkie-talkie back, and he dropped it. He sounds very formidable. Push! Martha, where can we put this General Motor we scavenge? There should be a room in the old coat closet next to the infirmary. Hey, Chief, got a newcomer you might want to meet. Said his name's Kal-El. He showed up while I was on lookout duty. Not now, Alton, can't you see? What in blazes? Basically meets up with him, uses his ring. Great Caesars! Whoa! I'm Perry White, acting council head of our tribe. We could use a fellow like you around here. Gotta know, what's your story? On. But basically, soon as like basically talks, they get basically compare notes and everything. And Luthor's Hypersector Brigade, they've tried before. We've held them off so far, but they're supposedly building some new weapon. Oh boy. And basically now, who's someone named Deke. Deke, great kid. Whenever somebody tells me we should ally ourselves with Luthor, I think of Deke. Luthor's hypersector hasn't got room for anybody he sees as a burden, and his strong bundles would include, say, Martha Kent back there, too old, can't lift, can't fight. Nothing and going for her but courage and wisdom. And if only we'd listened to her husband back then. Hey, Martha, come see the new kid and show the new kid around while I find out what the doc needs. Cal, was it? Kal-El. You're obviously not a local. So where did you come from? I was raised on a distant planet called Krypton. Last thing outer space sent our way nearly wiped out the human race. You'll be gentler with us, won't you? Come on, I'll give you the grand tour. You're lucky enough to have some good old-fashioned craftsmen among us. We couldn't survive without them. What do you do for food? We send people out to call what they can from the fields and the countryside. But the sky's so dark, though, not much sun gets through. Crops are small. Basically explains everything about it until anyone back home who's missing you at the moment? A wife or maid or... No, no one like that. That's too bad. Oh, Lois! So even though that's his mom, but neither of them know it yet, she's already ready to try and help play matchmaker.
Right, that's hilarious.
Mr. Kal-El, Lois Lane. I'm suddenly a bit fatigued. Lois. Once you finish showing Mr. Kal-El around, you find him fascinating. He has some rather unusual abilities. In fact, he may be the one man here you can't intimidate. Unusual abilities, huh? What, you can whistle through your eyes? No, I've been granted the use of a power ring that allows me to project my will as energy. I'm a Green Lantern after this power battery, which I use to recharge the ring. Huh, aren't you lucky? Imagine if you had to recharge it at a beige light socket. And condition red, everyone to battle station. Lucis crew, coming up fast! They're coming from the west, people. You know the drill. Make them come to us. Don't fire till you get the command. They're coming. I see them. Daily Planet, you have 1 minute to lay down your weapons and join us. After that, I will be forced to use my new uniforcers. Allow me to show you precisely what that means. Not yet. My people need to know that they can stand them against Luthor themselves. And besides, I want the element of surprise. Your minute is up. Attack! Uniforcers, advance! I cannot stand by any longer. Then don't. Go get him, boy! Don't fire, you value your life. No! The battle is over. Return to your encampment and don't trouble these people again. They are under my protection, and I will not tolerate... No! He forgot to power it up. And he's returned back. What in thunder happened to Kal-El? Huh? 1 minute he's all powerful, then he fizzles out like a stale battery. That's it. The light socket. The lantern he was carrying. He told me he used it to recharge his ring. If we can get to him somehow, maybe we can't. Maybe we can. I know where there's a route into hypersector. Into isn't the part I'm worried about. So Lois and Jimmy are making their way through there. I was going through the Daily Planet morgue and found a story about it in the last issue. They kept working down here till the day before the asteroid hit. Nobody believed it was going to happen. So much for civic improvement. The old courthouse is still standing, right? What about the jail across the street? Yep, I figured that's where they're holding him. And Kal-El, Lois? What? Nothing, all doesn't mean deserted. You said the tube was abandoned. Yeah, and it was. How was I supposed to know what was on the other end? You're the one with the itchy combat boots. And you're lucky I don't scratch them on your face. Don't you realize what this means? Luthor has Kal-El's ring and the lantern. If he figures out how to use them... Kal-El, are you all right? Lantern. What did you say about the lantern? We were bringing it to you so you could charge the ring. Luthor's troop grabbed it when we were captured. Sorry. You've handed Wet and Luthor the power to rip worlds asunder. You've reduced me to the helpless leak when I was born, and you're sorry? Now remember, he was altered to adjust along Krypton's gravity.
Ooh.
Oh, he's very John Carter in this. You know about John Carter, right?
I saw that terrible Disney movie.
But you get the idea, right? Someone on a bigger planet, then going to a smaller one.
I didn't really understand it when I was younger. I didn't know what it was.
If that's what you call weak, I'd hate to meet your big sister. Rips it. Next. What in blazes? And so he still has all of his abilities from Krypton that you would naturally get from the gravity. It's not enhanced like he would being a solar power battery, but it still makes him one tough son of a bitch. Yeah, now, this wouldn't have worked if he grew up as a baby there on Earth, because his body would have
Mhm.
adjusted there. But growing up as an adult there, coming back, he has these advantages. Like you
Don't
ain't
know how I feel
human.
about the gun thing, but okay.
No, no, because his skin is tougher. It's like Aquaman being under the underwater pressure for so long makes him resistant.
Is that how it works? I thought he was just born with it.
No, it's because he was no.
Oh.
In this case, it's because his body's so used to the harder pressures of Krypton, just like with Aquaman with the harder pressures of being underwater.
Okay, I redact my statement.
You
Also,
ain't
I like
human.
the exclamation points on the bottom of the
You know, that's
characters.
the strange thing. I thought I was jailbreak. Oh, he grabs it, lifts it up. Bullets aren't stopping him. Electricity, though, does. Kal-El, don't tell me he lived through that. I mean, I understand. I am equally amazed and more resolute than ever that Luthor must fall. Referencing the cover. But yeah, like he's trying to use the ring, but um, that alternative atomization will be considered more painful. I promise you. Let's test that assertion, Luthor. Go ahead, use the ring. Kill me first. You can't do it. You don't know how. Then may I recommend your surrender? The alternative? Oh God, take the ring, take it with pleasure. He uses it and then uses the ring power to, well, dissolve, destroy everything Luthor has done. They're weak, disorganized. They'll never survive without the sense of mission I gave them. Your only mission was accumulation of power by organized slaughter. I came from a world laid barren by war. I will not see that tragedy repeated. Therefore, your influence must be eliminated. You dumped him on a desert island? Why? Existence in isolation may be the ultimate human nightmare. More so for a man and for like Luther, who must render others subservient and be certain of his own self worth. Lois Lane, Lois will do. Mind clearing up something for me, by the way? You told Lucy you're from another planet, but you said to one of the guards you said you were thought you were human. Which is it? Both sentiments are true. I was raised on a world called Krypton, but I was born here on Earth. As an infant, I was placed in a rocket and sent to space. I presume my parents intended to save me from the asteroid impact. As for my apparent inhuman strengths, I spent my childhood in a special environment to acclimate to Krypton. Evidently, the adaptation that allowed me merely to survive there rendered me as some sort of Superman on Earth. And now I have a choice to make. Do I return to the world I know best, or pledge all my powers to protect and restore the place of my birth? The power of the ring is not yours to pledge, Kal-El. Basically, they're told then you're the Lantern of Sector 1003. You are to protect that. Leave this to 2814. And we shall grant you the remainder of the ring's power cycle to make your decision. So what does he do? And using it to do what he can to fix everything while he can. Holy
That's
freak,
my
we're under attack again. There's no need for alarm, Master Olsen. And basically, he's gone there to bring Krypton to help out.
Ooh.
The device transmitting about they will filter basically stuff like that, for example, that will filter things out. They implement standard Kryptonian specification for null gravity field. Like never. We talk about this, stuff like maybe Kal-El can explain in English. Do you know where he went or if he's coming back? Basically, he's gone to Krypton, brought stuff there. He's doing everything he can with the ring while he can. Bringing stuff over, going to Themyscira, bringing their stuff over with their technology to utilize it all and bring back, the Temple of Wisdom and on. Does that mean you're leaving us? I don't answer yet. There's something you need to know first. Has him meet up with Martha. Kal-El of Krypton of Earth. I am Abensur, Green Lantern of Sector 2814. I have been sent to retrieve your power battery and your ring. I know and I surrender them willingly, so not without regret. Are you certain of this decision, Kal-El? As certain as I can be. My life began on Earth. The lantern's light showed me the way home. Perhaps for me, that is what it was meant to do. I do not know if I belong here, any more than I did on Krypton. I know only that I cannot abandon this world, and must therefore resign from the Corps. The Guardians respect your choice, as do I, but we Warriors of the Ring have a saying. Once a Green Lantern, always a Green Lantern. There's no telling what destiny awaits you, Kal-El. You've led a most interesting life up until now. If I were you, I would not expect that to change. Meanwhile, we find out this time you've gone too far, Jor-El. With this unspeakable act, you flout our culture's most fundamental principles, its reverence for life. No, Father, I do not. Nor does Laura. They're the Silver Age outfits! Nor our culture, and for our culture does not revere life, but mere longevity. Indeed, our forebears first went astray when they abandoned their love of learning and truth for the obsessive pursuit of that empty goal. That
How
was
come
not
his suit is so bad and hers is so great?
that's what it used to be. That was not their intent, of course. The ancients measured their lives in decades. How could they have foreseen the consequences of a lifespan stretching for into centuries, even millennia? How could they have imagined that all sense of urgency would vanish from life? We believe our lifetimes to be infinite, so we have infinite time to waste. The establishment of the clone banks turned Krypton into a hedonistic society. The war that followed and the adventure of the biosuits to Krypton into a stagnated society. Jarl and I will no longer be party to it. Our son has shown us another way. Without our biosuits, our lives may be shorter, but they will be fuller. But they will be fuller. In the cycles that remain to us, we shall reveal to all of Krypton the glories of our past. And when the time comes, we shall die, that a new generation may arise to shape a future exceeding even our dreams. All these things we do in your memory, Kal-El. This world rescued by your will alone. This precious stone set in the cosmic void. This Krypton shall not live in vain. And shall not that this Krypton shall not live in vain. What did you think?
That was great.
But there's a follow-up
Cool.
called, and which we will also go over, called Last Stand on Krypton.
Laura seems to have a different outfit.
Uh, well, that's Laura there, yeah.
Yeah.
Metropolis, the year 2000. Fellow citizens, for more than 30 years, ever since Earth's collision with the asteroid, all of us have lived beneath. Basically, this is right after, before he gave up the ring. Thanks to Kal-El, the skies are clearing. The technology he's given us in the store of wisdom in this ancient temple, we must rebuild our world. Let this new dawn be the brightest mankind has ever known. And thanks to Kryptonian tech, 11 years later, look at how much Metropolis alone has changed. Make no mistake, I believe every soul on this planet owes Kal-El a debt of gratitude. Were it not for the citizens, we might still be foraging like rats amid the debris of the ruined world. However, the World Security Council was formed to ensure Earth's future, not merely to protect some arbitrary status quo. You admit, Kal-El, that you have limited the extent and nature of the Kryptonian science you've shared with us, yet you refuse to tell us why. What harm should come with sharing Krypton's genetic science, for example, or the process by which you adapted to that planet's environment? Why should you, and Morgan Edge, of course, why should you alone possess the ability to raise tremendous weights and leap an eighth of a mile? Why should you alone among all humanity be impervious to anything less of a bursting shell? Why should you be the world's only Superman? Should I seem unduly harsh, my fellow delegates, ask yourselves what other secrets Kal-El may be keeping. For all we know, the science of an adoptive planet holds the key to immortality, or perhaps the key of thousands of centuries of war and devastation. Would you have me share that with humanity, Mr. Edge? Is that a threat, Kal-El, or simple arrogance? Are you saying that we Earthmen are too primitive to cope with the marvels of Krypton scientists? Before our ancestors learned to make fire, the nation of Kryptonians were forging empires. Before the first mud brick of the first human city was laid, Krypton was reaching for the stars. Yet the culture, unimaginably ancient, incomparably wise, all but destroyed itself with its scientific marvels. If the Earth is to suffer a similar fate, it will not be by my hands. My work on this council is finished. Now you know why I got out of politics and back into the newspaper game at the first opportunity. Anyway, you were exaggerating, right? Krypton wasn't actually at war for 100,000 years. What the hell could people fight over for that long? A matter of principle, Mr. White. Great Caesar's ghost, a religious war. In a sense, a battle of philosophies. So basically, he's explaining it all and asks, how's your mother doing? Martha and I are so busy these days, we never get time to talk. And like you, she perches herself too hard. Neither of you seem willing to acknowledge your age. We've got the same affliction. We spent the prime of our lives in a ruined world. We're both making up for lost time. What do you hear from Lois? Very little. She's in South America, heading up a peacekeeping force for the council you just quit. Takes her after her father, I guess. Military does that to the chromosome. Chief, Chief, what do you see this? They're going berserk over at. Hey, Kal-El, you're here. Yes, Olsen, he's here, and we're not a tribe anymore, so you don't call me Chief. Now, what in blazes are you yammering about? The Security Council Edge is whipping him into a frenzy. He's calling you a traitor to humanity for not handing over everything about Kryptonian science. You want to comment? Morgan Edge is just the latest in a long line of fools, Clark. It's one of mankind's less enduring quirks. We're somehow compelled to destroy anyone who has the audacity to try and save us. Jesus, Gandhi, King, even your father. The ridicule he endured, that's what sucked the life from him, not the pneumonia. Mother. Of course, if we stayed in Smallville, if he had insisted on going back to Metropolis while the storm was still raging, I did not mean to stir such painful memories. He wanted me to be aboard the rocket with you. Did I ever tell you that? I said I couldn't abandon him, to die alone, but that wasn't the whole truth. Mother, there's no need to. Yes, yes, there is. I knew you had a better chance to survive if I weren't with you, but I was terrified. I needed to stay by Jonathan's side for my own comfort, not his. The choice I made was entirely selfish, but in the face of such peril, anyone might have. I'm not trying to purge myself of guilt, Clark. That will never go away. I'm telling you this because I can guess what you're thinking, and you're right. You've done all you can for this world. You can't play technological Santa Claus anymore, and you're not the Messiah. You're under no obligation to hang around until they find a way to crucify a Superman. It's time you thought of yourself, just as I did, and not worrying about hurting me. You know, you know what I intend to do. I'm your mother, Clark. Of course I know. And will you miss me at least a little bit? Okay, this is better than anything in BVS with Martha and Clark.
Which I'm gonna have to watch now.
And then there's in Arkham Island with Luthor. You need to explain, Councilman. I know why you came to see me. You need a man with a vision. You need a man who can point the way in a new direction.
Ooh.
Yep, sorry. Um, well, in part, only in part. What am I forgetting? Ha! Of course. How stupid of me. You're also a man who needs. You also need a man whose brain is full of death, and one who would do anything, dare anything, to gain his freedom. And perhaps more to the point, you need the only man who has ever defeated Kal-El. Yes. In that case, I believe we can do business. The first order of which will be my release. I've spent 7 years in this cell, Mr. Edge, and 4 years before that on the only two-legged creature on Arkham Island. In effect, they erected this architectural monstrosity around me. I wish to move amidst throning flesh again. Flesh that trembles when caressed and runs red when riven. But enough about me. Let's talk about Kal-El. And yeah, Superman seems to have disappeared. And what do you mean disappeared? He hasn't been seen since the day he walked out of the council. So of course the rumor mill is working overtime. Few idiots may even believe he's planning a coup, that he's going to disable the alien technology until we declare him ruler of the world. He's had 11 years to do that. If he really wanted to, don't these people ever stop to think? Never mind, I know the answer. Lois, you and Kal-El were close for a while. He confided in you. So, do you have any idea where? I might, yeah. We're mopping up down here, or maybe Colonel Trevor can spare me for a quick scouting expedition. Meanwhile, in Kansas, we see him over there, and uh, oh geez, all of a sudden something rockets out from the ship. Does that mean what I think it does? Well, it could be interpreted in several ways. It may mean that our little bird has flown the coop, or that your petty posturing, delays, and distractions have undermined the mission, or simply that you're of no fears or use to me. Dead and recently. He killed them!
What the heck?
Somehow I can't picture Kal-El charbroiling visitors, even unwelcoming ones. which means somebody else had the same bright idea about where to find him. And from the looks of it, they may still be around. Astonishing, absolutely astonishing. Quantum processors, polyphasic data streaming, multiplanar circuitry. Who are these Kryptonians? Their toasters must be more sophisticated than our satellites. In case you haven't noticed, we're all out of whole wheat, and you're trespassing. Turn around slowly and Luthor! Ah, miss, no part of me. Captain Lane, please, Ace, lower your weapon. We're on the same side these days, you know. What? Oh, you hadn't heard? Morgan H secured my release. I'm working for the council now. You're lying. What are you doing here? Where's Kal-El? Alas, he had to fly, and I'm about to join him. I'll decide where and what and where you're. What's so funny? I'm afraid the matter's been taken out of your hands. So basically, head back to Krypton now. Can this truly be the House of El? These are the coordinates you specified, Master Kal-El. Astonishing. Locate my adoptive father, Jor-El. Scanning. He is not on the premises, Master Kal-El. And my grandfather, Saga? Negative. No life forms at all in the immediate vicinity. They meet up with Kellex, who then explains about where they are to go. He's been absent for some time now. He resides with the Planetary Restoration Fellowship. Planetary what? Then where is Saga? Unknown. That's impossible. Access, house, and transport logs. Unable to comply. All logging systems were deactivated before his departure. As we like hideous leafy things. That basically now in Krypton they feel Jor-El's going too far with this. It's one thing when they chose to do it on their own, but now they're asking for General Zod to help.
What?
Will you take up the mantle of general? It would seem I have little choice, Zun-Ka. The wheel of destiny has turned full cycle, and the fools are once again ascendant. They would unlearn the harsh lesson of Krypton's past, and thus the time has come for a cleansing. I shall be your general, and those who reject the true rays of Krypton will be consumed in the fire of purgation. Father, mother, it is good to see you. In the name of Ralph, Kal-El, my son, this is the most unexpected. We thought you lost to us forever. Are you back to stay, Kal-El? Why would you return to this desolate world? It is a lot less desolate than when I left. You and your people have worked miracles. In your eyes, perhaps, some would consider us deviants and criminals. You have chosen a perilous time to come, Kal-El. Basically, then, as this is going on, they're showing all the wonders they've done. Look at all this.
Dang, just the two of them?
With others who have joined up with them. And they found animal genetic sequences in the ancient data core and replicated them, using their cloning to do all this. And Joel, I am calling to give you a final warning. Warning? I should not even be speaking to you. I do so only because I fear for the House of El. And I do not wish to see you harmed. You have transgressed against our most sacred laws. For that, many would have you and your followers suffer the ultimate punishment. I implore you, come home. Abandon this mad end. Basically, he's begging him to come back and everything. And then when he sees Kal-El, return to sow more discord, are you? I rue the day your alien father sent you to this world. I should have dissected you like any other extrinsic life form. If you had, you and this planet would be nothing but cosmic debris. Its insolence exceeds even yours, Jor-El. You must be proud. I ask you again, will you continue to pursue this ill-conceived cause, or will you choose life? Life is precisely what we have chosen, Father. A Krypton rescue from the edge of extinction. So be it then. This is the end of our house, and soon the end of your misbegotten dream. You are no longer my son. Lois made her way back and meets up with him, but Lex is with her, using a suit that allows her to breathe his own exoskeletal apparatus. You have my sympathies, although I must admit I enjoy watching you crawl. Very appealing. How did you know? What? That I would need a bit of technological enhancement to get around? Obviously, he knew this was going to happen because of what Kal-El had talked about. Then they're brought then, and they actually meet up with as your life is in my hands, Captain, I suggest you curb your sarcasm. Wait patiently and be amazed. Basically, they soon meet up with General Zod. He's playing a power game, Captain, a rather infantile one at that. I advise you reconsider, sir. You speak Kryptonese. Very well. Who are you? And right precisely should I not have you destroyed? Basically, they work a deal out to try and solve both their problems. Give them more technology, and they will help them cleanse of everything.
She fell asleep.
No, no, she didn't fall asleep. She just can barely talk.
No, she said, I'm going to take a nap.
No, no, she's saying that sarcastically. She
What?
says, "Wake me if anything amazing happens." I know. Hours did pass, and she did take a nap. You're right. And then she woke up. Because look.
Uh,
But yeah, basically they're trying to find where Kal-El is, right as they're starting to be attacked. Armor fires, bearing the crest of the House of Zod. What a fool I've been! The House of Zod was charged with the defense of Krypton, not the slaughter of her people. When the council hears of this, they already know Kal-El. Indeed, I'm quite certain they sanctioned this attack. Your grandfather tried to warn me, and I paid no heed. So they have no, but so yeah, they're figuring what's going on, and so much has been devastated. And now they're wondering should they be giving up on everything. But it's
oh,
like,
it looks so gross.
I know you cannot relinquish your responsibility as their leader. You've shown them your vision of a new Krypton. Ask them if it's worth fighting for. And then basically he then goes right up to Sex Al and be like, to speak the truth. Perhaps you preferred assassin than or barbarian. You dare to speak the truth? Oh yes, I dare. You and the council have outlined yourself as a butcher who we have done what was necessary to preserve Krypton's way of life. If you wish to assign blame, I suggest you look to your adoptive father and yourself. Basically, they're ready to turn on him all because, again, they want to stick to the old ways.
Mm-hmm.
And now Luthor is there, and he's ready to study him with all of this wonderful Kryptonian technology, including exposing him to what ends up being red kryptonite. All the while, Jor-El is making a speech to everyone, saying, "I am no general, but may God, Ralph, forgive us for our contradictions." They're planning on fighting back. And now, thanks to the red kryptonite, solar energy and kryptonite, it's transforming Kal-El or Clark. And you're like, you maniac, Zod will never keep your bargain. He's playing you for a fool, letting you kill our only hope of, oh, Captain, my Captain, do you really think I'm stupid? But then look what happened. It enhanced him. That was unexpected.
Yeah, I didn't expect that. It's everything's so ugly here.
It is. The artwork is not as. It's more the coloring, I think.
Maybe. He looks like an ugly Hulk.
Yep. They soon realize that those solar energies cause all this. Well, there's something you don't see every day. Indeed, I point out that you've unleashed a monstrosity upon this world, Luthor, one that could alter the balance of power in the coming civil conflict. I'm a genetic general, not an idiot. I see the problem. But they soon realize, like, my God, are you coherent again? I brain, flesh on fire. I could not think, blinded by pain, rage. I did not harm you, frighten you. I'll be all right. The pain is subsiding, but the red Kryptonian and Kryptonium radiation has somehow altered my physiology. I feel stronger than I did on Earth. Yeah, well, that makes one of us. So they bounce back, and now Luthor's going to do the same thing to him, tossing. They're ready, and now they're ready to
Destroy.
yeah, destroy him. But he's actually used it to enhance his own brain.
Ew.
Apparently, Kal-El was telling the truth about your world's wretched history. He sees all that's happening, and Neo. But as long as they're still around, why not degrade them? One final time. Use the ad hoc army you're raising to overthrow your ruling council. Kneel before Zod. Is that how you envision it, General? Every knee bent. Basically, Zod was planning on overthrowing them.
Mm.
But yeah, with help from Jor-El and Laura, they make her own exosuit.
Nice. Finally, I was like feeling so sad for her. I'm like, she gonna be like this the entire book.
Yep. And then we see Clark now has a bigger version of the suit, and now they're figuring out what to do to fight back. Then they find the Phantom Zone projector and accidentally send Lois there, but then bring her back.
Oh, thank goodness.
Oh no, that's not what happened. This creature actually sent her. It can actually do it naturally. Oh no! Wait, never
Interesting.
mind. I'm wrong again. Clark was fiddling with stuff,
Dang it, Clark.
but they fixed it all. Now it's leading to a war. A big fight with everything, and he ends up killing Sex L. And now they've realized what this is going to mean, and now it's decide like Imzad is dead, and Imzad is also dead. And dead. Alien and 6L is then informing him about what's going on. He's coming. You cannot stand against. Must flee now. Ra be with you, my son. So his father didn't. Jor-El's father did care at least a little, but Luthor is now leading Zod's army, leading to this last stand. And thus they unleash all the animals, everything onto them, leading to a big final fight using phase 3 where they utilize some of the Phantom Zone projector. And it's basically a big, huge fight, massive fight. And Luthor and Superman continue to, Clark continue to fight it out. And one big final burst, especially with Alexa's telepathic energy and basically like eyes of Rao. Dear God, what? Laura, Lois, are you all right? We seem to be. Jor-El, what was that? Did you set up some weapon? No, we had no device capable of such things. No, never mind. But basically they find out what happened and they're both fried because they're still human. But what does Luthor do? He uses his own last of his power, his enhanced psychic abilities, to re-trigger kryptonite and Krypton's destruction.
What the heck?
And with his final words, Clark warns them they have to leave. And thus, what do they
Oh.
do? They have to make it to a ship. It can carry two people. So Lois and Laura head on out to Earth. And Jor-El, please, I wish to remain here with you. If we must perish, no, you bear the last and only hope of Krypton survival, Laura. For the sake of all that was, our world, you must go. Krypton survival? I don't. My husband and I have violated our culture's most stringent taboo, Lois Lane. I am carrying Jor-El's child. And that's the end.
Oh, so they
Unfortunately,
can finally get their own kid.
with the passing of Steve Gerber many years ago, we never got a resolution to anything, and he did
Oh
want to do a final one.
no.
But what did you think of this whole story overall?
Oh, it was amazing.
See why I
I
loved
loved
it
every
so much?
second.
So
Except Laura at first.
I know, but so fresh, right? Such an interesting twist of when you invert everything. Even the stuff on the last stand of Krypton made a lot of sense.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't change culture and you can't uplift the culture without them wanting more.
I was in mid yawn. I couldn't
But yeah,
answer.
but but the artwork was muddied in the second one.
A little bit, yeah, on some things.
But the fact, talk about I did not expect Clark to die like that. But
I didn't either. I feel super sad.
and Lex's death and everything. But I'm curious to what Gerber would have done.
Me
Obviously, he
too.
would have been on Earth. It would have been the son of Jor-El and Laura. What would have happened? Obviously, they would have wanted more of the Kryptonian tech.
Oh, Lois would have been like the auntie.
Yeah, unless Laura died giving birth, in which case Lois would have raised him.
Oh no.
Which that
So
could have. But overall, what do you rate this?
10.
Definite 10. Now, how would you say the originality on this was compared to, say, Secret Society of the Superheroes?
Well, it's like for this one, they expanded lore on not only Earth but also Krypton and then beyond. So
Yeah,
that
so
was
this
very
was definitely much
impressive.
fresher.
Yeah.
And poor Jonathan. That was a great twist that he became an astrophysicist because he wanted to leave the farm.
Yeah, that was interesting.
But yes, overall, phenomenal story. And I recommend you find your own a copy of it.
I will. I will.
Yep. So, yeah. Thank you all for joining us on this, and we'll see you on the next one. Take
Bye.
care. And that's good enough.
Cool.